Hello all, Jamie here from Craftmania, and today we are bringing you a brand new die of the week. But before we delve in, please can you let us know if you can hear us clearly. We've had a few comments on recent videos that you're not hearing us too well, and of course we want to try and fix this issue. But being honest with you, we can't actually find an issue. This is probably us. We tell you this all the time. We're not the best here with technology, but we have tested on iPhones, iPads, PCs, laptops, Samsung tablets, just about every device and possible way we can test these things. As many of you know, we even own a computer shop, and we've even set them the task to find the issue, and we're all coming back a little bit blank on this one. But we know there's a few of you that are having this issue, so I'm sure there is a problem somewhere. We're just trying to fix it. So today we've tinkered a few of the settings with technological advice from the experts, and hopefully you can hear us okay. But please, as always, let us know. We obviously want to work with you to make sure that you can hear us, and it's the last thing we want to do is spend our time making content and trying to share our ideas with you if you can't hear it or see it. So please do let us know. You know us in technology, we're not the best, hands up, you know, we're not always brilliant at everything. We're much better at making cards than we are trying to work out how to get all this lot to work. So apologies on that front from us, but hopefully today's video will work okay and you will hear us nice and clearly. So please let us know. As I say, we're here to work with you, not against you, and we want to try and make this work right. So please let us know. So if you can hear us okay, hopefully you'll stick with us. And of course, as always, if you are new to the channel, please make sure that you hit subscribe and tick the bell so you're notified of all of our future videos, because we would love for you to stay in our little family here on YouTube. Or of course, if you're watching us on any different platforms such as Facebook or Instagram, please make sure you're liking and following those pages too, so you stay in the loop with everything we have going on here at Craftmania. Now this week we are bringing you a brand new die of the week, and it is, they always say you should never say the word cheap. So I've never really worked out why, but I suppose maybe I'm just a bit common. It's our cheapest die we've ever bought you as a die of the week. It is the grand sum of £3.50. Its recommended retail price is £7.99. So you're saving more than you're spending. I always struggle with that. Saving more than you're spending. You're going to be saving something like £4.50, £4.49, and you're spending £3.50. Now this week we are changing our P&P here at Craftmania. So depending on what point of the week you watch this, it may have all changed. So do bear that in mind when you're going to place your orders. But currently on launch day, our P&P is still at £5 free UK P&P, and then if you're an international customer, then of course it is capped at £10. I can't tell you too much about what's coming, but there are big changes coming, hopefully to work with you. Once again, here to work with you, here to try and look after you and make you part of our Craftmania family. So lots coming, but I can't tell you too much today, but keep an eye out throughout the week as we move through it, because we'll be telling you more about what's coming in that format. So while you can, spend your £5, get your free UK P&P, and grab yourself your die of the week. It won't be hellishly different even when it does change. But at the moment, £3.50 is a great little addition towards getting you your free UK P&P. So the die of the week this week is brought to us by Sentimentally Yours, our lovely Phil Martin, and it is of course one that he has done in collaboration with Creative Expressions, and this one says Thinking of You. It has 4 different dies with it. We have got 3 separate heart dies, and we have got our sentiment Thinking of You. Now this is quite a large die actually, I'm not too sure. It's the actual size shown on the front there, but we'll give you a cheeky measurement when we get on to playing with it in a second to tell you more. But it's quite a nice size die. It's a great little sentiment. Really lovely font, and I love the little additions of the heart. It means that it could be being used for get well soon, it could be being used for Valentine's, anniversaries, weddings, and just somebody you love, somebody you care about, that you want to pass on that message that you're thinking of them. So to me, it's a real essential that's ticking a lot of boxes, and no better time to grab it while it's only £3.50. So let's dig in and have a little measure of this and see if we can show you a few bits of inspiration to give you some ideas on what you could be creating. So measurement wise, I've only got a centimetre rule with me at the moment, but this one is approximately 10 centimetres width, which is about 4 inches, I believe, going by memory. And if we measure it this way, it's about 4.5 centimetres. So it's just shy of 2 inches, I believe, coming down. So yeah, it's a nice size. It's a great size to be working with. It's big enough that it could be your focal point, but it could easily fit on the insert to be an insert, or it could go on a gift tag. You know, it's not too big, but it's not too small. You're not going to lose it. So it's a great size. You then have 3 separate heart dies. Now these are quite crafty because of not only do you have these that you could cut in, create like little thought bubbles coming off of the top of the die if you wanted to, create little apertures with them. These also seem to fit quite nicely over the solid hearts. So if you wanted to build these up on your actual design, I've used these to actually do that with, and that works quite nicely. I don't know, and I hadn't even thought of this, but I'm not convinced you couldn't use these to cut into the apertures as well. So if you wanted to cut that heart out and have like a little frame around it, they might not work for that, but they might just, especially on the larger ones. So you might wish to play with that. I hadn't thought of that, so I haven't done that. But it's always when I sit here, do I come up with different ideas? When I start talking to you all about what you could do with it, it's when the ideas start flowing, isn't it? Always the way. But 4 different dies in this set for just £3.50, and your recommended retail price for this one is £7.99. So again, quite a nice little saving. Ideas to share with you. So you know this, we always share with you 7 cards, and we will share these one a day on our Facebook page, which is of course Craftmania on Facebook. They will appear every day at 2 o'clock to give you a bit more inspiration, more in the format of if you'd like to go and save the pictures or zoom in and have a closer look at them, you can absolutely do that. But on today's video, we'll do a quick run by through them and show you a few ideas of what we've been doing. So on the front here, I've done an vellum overlay or a vellum wrap, and I've put it through with our mini hearts stencil to actually emboss the hearts into this one. So they've got a little bit of texture on them. Being honest with you, in my stash, I only had one very crumpled piece of vellum left to play with today. I'd really need to go and pinch some more from the shop, but I'd forgot that I needed some. So I thought, well, I'll emboss it and see how that looks, and hopefully it will distract the eye from any creases that are in the actual vellum. On the front, I've added a ribbon, which I've coloured with some ink. I've added on a thinking of you down the front here as well. And then as we turn over to page 2, you're going to see our Floral Melody stamp set, which is one of our pattern match stamps. And I've just stamped that and built this up to make the panel. I've actually added another sort of wrap round for that piece, so that we've got the vellum wrap round, we've got the stamped wrap round, and then you've got your actual card blank. So it makes quite a nice little booklet of pages to sort of flick through. I always think that looks quite luxurious, and the ribbon kind of holds it all together in one place. So very, very simple to do, just adding this down on the front here. Really a little finishing touch as such. Then on to card number 2. So again, we're back playing with our stamps, and we have gone for the lovely rose stamp. This time I've stamped it in our black ink, which I believe is called Black Panther. I've coloured it in with alcohol markers. I've added a few little white dots with a white gel pen, and then in the middle here I've added our Thinking of You. And I've done it on a drop shadow, so I've cut one from our Polar White Elite cardstock and one from our Night Sky Navy, and I've just literally dropped it down and stuck the two together so that you've got that lovely little halo effect coming in from around the edges. I've then brought the Night Sky Navy and the Polar White into the layers beneath, and of course this original panel on the top here, this was done on our Seashell Blue card, which just gave everything that light blue hue that matched in nicely with the navies that are going to be between the layers, between the sentiment and the base card. Very, very easy to do and quite good fun. And of course, as a panel, could be used in any direction. And you could, of course, even twist your sentiment if you prefer to run across the middle here. It's down to you which way you'd like to take that one. Then moving on, so this time what we have got is we have got one of our new masks or stencils, depending on what you wish to call them. They're our circular frames. So to begin with, I've taken our kaleidoscope butterfly stencil, I have embossed it. I have then put the circular frame over the top of it. I did this actually on a live, so you will see this on one of the Jamie Rodgers Crafts lives being done. But I put down the circle and I inked over the top in this really lovely blue. It's, what is it called? Uncharted Mariner, something like that. It's one of the distress inks. And I inked over the top of the stencil, so circle over the top of the butterfly stencil, so it just coloured the butterflies in blue. Then I added clear texture paste over the top of it and took that away. So we've ended up with shiny blue butterflies going on just within that circle. All of the rest of the outside was left white, so I've brought in, once dry, my blending brushes, and I've blended over using some of Simon Hurley's lovely purple ink, which I think is called, I forgot the name now. I always do this when I come to film these, I forget the names. What's that one called? is it Crown Me? I think purple is Crown Me, but it's one of the purples from Simon Hurley. And then I've used the same blue from the Distress family to just blend that in slightly as well. I've then taken my white gel pen and I've just added little dots in the middles of the butterflies, even over the top of the clear texture paste. And then I've brought the Thinking of You in and I've layered that up on a black tablet with a white layer. And then I've also taken my blending brushes, blended a bit of card and cut these hearts out and layered them on top so it all coordinates throughout the project. But I do like that little bit of shimmer that's coming in from the clear texture paste, and the depth that that creates is really prominent and really lovely on top of the embossed stencil as well. So that's a really lovely way to work with it. Something I haven't told you today, and it's actually a really important bit that I mean to tell you, and I never do, I always forget. All of the bits we're talking about throughout today's video will be found in one page on our website. So if you head on to the Craftmania website, www.craftmaniacrafts.com, head on to there and you'll see Die of the Week appear on the menu bar. Whether you're on a desktop, it'll be across the middle of the screen or across the top of the screen, or if you're on a mobile device, it'll be in a little drop-down box. But either, you will find the words Die of the Week. Give that a little click and it will go through and it will show you a picture of this week's Die of the Week, wherever that's gone. It will show you the picture of the die. Give that a little click and it will take you through to a dedicated page. On the dedicated page, when we're talking about the inks that I can't remember the names of, the stencils, the stamps, everything basically, colours of card, it will all be on there for you. So you don't have to go searching around the Craftmania website to find all of these bits and bobs. They're all in one place. This will also be linked, the page I'm talking about, in the description to the video. And if you do go onto the Facebook page throughout the week at 2 p.m, every card will have a link to that page for you as well, so that you can just hop on over to that page and see all of the bits that I've been using to create these cards with. And of course, if you have any questions, pop them in the comments and I will do my very best to answer them for you. But I'll try and cover everything as we go through today's video, so you're not left wondering. So then, back to where we were. So that was card number 3 from this week. Moving on to card number 4. We're going to keep it nice and simple. So this one again is just using our border stamps. So I've used the corner and the border on each side of what was going to be a DL card, to be honest with you, and sort of a stand-up DL card. And then I remembered that our lovely sentiment for this week would fit perfectly in the middle. So I've brought that in and added it in instead. Again, drop shadow in this time with our Raven Black card and our gold mirror card to just give that little gold halo effect coming in from the behind of that black sentiment. Hopefully you can see that okay. Not always easy to capture drop shadows on film, but they look so effective in real life when the light hits them, especially if they're done with mirror card. Then mirror card layers and black layers through underneath, and of course stamped and coloured with alcohol markers on top of our polar white cardstock. So this is our first 4, to give you an idea. I haven't laid them out for you today, have I? Usually I lay them out so you can see them as we're sort of going through them, because it's nice that you can see all of the different ideas in one go, actually, because sometimes I feel it shows the different sizes of cards and different directions you could be taking these off and sort of getting creative with. So another panel that we created on one of the Jamie Rodgers Crafts Facebook Lives recently. This is using a floral spray stencil and I've embossed it. And then while it's in place, I've gone through and I've inked over the top of it, doing lots of different blending with distress inks mainly. I've then brought in a gold gel pen and a white gel pen, and I've added little dots and dashes and little markings to the flowers, the butterflies. Just really had fun with it, to be honest, and played around a little. I've then added little crystals into the middles of the flowers, and again brought in, of course, our Thinking of You cut from gold mirror card and placed down here on the edge to match in with a gold layer that's underneath it. So very simple, very easy, just playing with that stencil really. Then another one that we was doing on a recent one of our lives. This one was one of the recent lives. And if I keep talking about these lives, if you've not watched the lives, make the jump over to the Jamie Rodgers Crafts YouTube channel. And all of the lives are put up there. Or, of course, you can watch them on our Jamie Rodgers Crafts Facebook page as well. They go out every Thursday night. So we literally do what we call a Thursday night natter, 7 p.m. every Thursday. This week's just gone. Obviously, I was on Highlight Crafts live shopping events, but that too was broadcast on the page too. So I know I'm muddying the water a little bit talking about Jamie Rodgers Crafts on our Craftmania videos, but if you do wish to join in with the Thursday night natters, or you wish to catch up, you can watch them on the Facebook page, or you can watch them on the Jamie Rodgers Crafts YouTube channel. Again, we did have a couple of people talk about sound issues with the lives on YouTube. So if you struggle there, watch them on Facebook. Again, I don't get technology because they work perfectly fine when we was doing them live. We had lots of people watching and commenting and chatting to us. No problems. And we literally just download the video, move it across and upload it to YouTube. Some worked and some people said there was issues. But again, we've tested them all and we can't find them. So I'm a little bit bamboozled. Technology and me really don't get on. I much prefer sort of wax slates and paper and pen because it's something I can actually understand. But hopefully, if you want to watch them, you can either watch them on the Facebook page, which we had no problems with, or on YouTube. But again, let us know how you get on. So back to this card. This is another one that we did on one of those lives. As I say, every Thursday, 7 p.m, Jamie Rodgers Crafts Facebook page if you want to join in with those. So this was one that we did, and we took the butterfly die and we stuck it onto a self-adhesive sheet, and we then took talcum powder and dusted talcum powder over the top of it. So all of the gaps in between the butterflies, all of the bits in the wings, all was covered in talcum powder, and that basically stops these areas being sticky on your self-adhesive sheet. It's a really good cheat if you want to stick items down but you don't want to put glue over the back of them, because the self-adhesive sheet will hold them, the talcum powder will go on, and it will just be a neutral flat colour. Of course you can do this technique with glitters and flakes and bits like that, and that looks really lovely too, but I always felt I wanted something that didn't have a colour to it, didn't have a sparkle to it, didn't steal the show from what we was actually putting on top of it. And in like this, I wanted the butterflies to be the magical bit, not the flakes, not the glitters, nothing else. So for a long time, I've been after some sort of powder format that we could put over the top to sort of diminish that and take away the sticky, but give you a surface you can work on. And talcum powder is something I've done for a long time because it just seems to work well. And when we did it on the live, people asked, could we do it with cornstarch? Could we do it with an anti-static pad? Things like that. So you experiment, see how you get on. But I've always personally stuck to just a plain white talcum powder. Now the fun bit is if you do this with talcum powder, you can then colour over the top of it. So I've taken a blending brush and I've brought in again some of the inks. I'll put these on the page too on the website if you want to know the exact ones. But I think it's Wild Honey from Distress, Barn Door or Fired Brick actually, and then that purple from Simon Hurley again. And I've just used a blending brush to blend over the top of the talc and add colour to it, and it just works really nicely. It's a really easy way to do that. And then I've just brought in some crystals and stuck a few crystals dotted around to infill the areas. With the thinking of you, I've stuck this down, so again cut from Night Sky Navy, stuck onto a white card, and then I've taken the same inks, put them out onto a little mat, picked them up with some water and painted those into the apertures on the hearts, just so the colours on this panel match in with the colours found in the background. Then our very last card, and I think I've saved my favourite one till last today. So with this one, what I've done is I've taken the mini heart stencil, and this was something I didn't know we could do actually. I've taken the mini heart stencil and I've done the first one, again using the Fired Brick Distressing, blended through the top of it, got in all of these red hearts. Then I just took the stencil and moved it slightly, stuck it back in place and went through with our gemstones texture paste in that lovely light pink, just to give us two tones of different hearts. And I did all of this on top of a square, and the square, I'll give this a lift up so you can hopefully see it. The square, when I cut it, I used several of the dies, the pierced dies from in our pierced set, which is, I'm trying to remember now, it is the set which comes with the scalloped edge squares. So scalloped edge squares, and then you get your separate pierced lines. Like, give us a sec. I've got one here to show you, just in case you've not seen them. This wasn't planned, but luckily I've got everything lurking around here somewhere. So you've got separate edge dies with pierced dots, and then you've got separate cut-in dies too. So you've got your scallop die, and then you've got your, oh, I've picked up the wrong one. Let's get the right one, so that makes sense. So you've got your scalloped edge, and then you've got your separate pierced dot. Now you can use these two together so that you cut out the scallop square with the pierced dot on it, or actually you can just go in and pick up all of the dotty lines, the dotty borders. These don't have any blades attached to the inside or the outside of them, and you can cut those together, and that's what I did on this card. So I've got all of these in pierced details but staying within the square. And what's really lovely about this collection, I'm sure you've seen me talk about it before, but there are 5 different versions. So this one, for instance, is decal edge squares with stitched lines. This one is plain squares. Then we've got fluted squares. which is this set here, and we have got postage stamp squares, which is this set here. And it doesn't matter which one you go to, you will be able to then bring in the next size down and thereafter of the pierce detail or the stitch detail. So this was all about bringing you a collection of dies that work together so that you could go between the two and sort of play around with them to make different styles. So you might want to do a fluted edge with a pierce, and then a flat edge in the middle to cut it out to create a frame. It gives you those options, but I'm going off on tangents. So they're great fun. Again, watch the videos on the Jamie Rodgers Crafts Facebook page, or the Facebook lives that I've done, because we cover quite a lot of that. I actually think this panel that we're talking about on this card was done on one of those lives, and we sort of chatted through those dies a little bit more. But I just love the fact it gives you that breakup point for your panels. And then like this one, if you do want to ink over the top, you want to bring in your texture based, you can do. It just gives you a more patterned base to build up on top of. So then with this one, once we've done the hearts in the background, I've done a little vellum border going round it. I've added on the Thinking of You, which I've cut from the rose petal pink and the romantic red cardstock. And then around the edge here, we've brought in the Cosmos flower, and I've just built these up and added little red pearls in the middle of them. And then I've used our Sizzix Reef die to go around the back of this to give us that lovely little foliage piece, just to sort of break up that pattern and to bring in a bit of foliage too. But you could add in lots of different flowers and leaves if you wish to, but it was just a fun one to do. So that gives you your 7 different bits of inspiration for this week's die of the week. Now I have a feeling, and I might be wrong, but I have a feeling this one is going to fly off the shelves. Once again, should be £7.99 and it's only £3.50. It's giving you 4 dies. You've got your main focal die, you've got your 3 separate heart dies. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I truly believe it's going to take you through so many different occasions. Whether it is somebody you just want to say that you're thinking of, maybe they're having a hard time, maybe they've got a big test coming up or something similar. Maybe it is for a get well soon and you just want them to know that you're thinking of them. Maybe you don't actually want to say get well soon, but you want them to know that they care. Maybe somebody's had some bad news. You want to just remind them that you love them and that you're thinking of them. Maybe it's an anniversary. Maybe it's a wedding. Maybe it's several different occasions throughout the year that you're going to be able to bring this in for. I don't know about you, but I would never grumble at opening a card and having the words thinking of you on it, because I know then that not only has the recipient made that card, put care and love and time into it, they really are thinking of me and what's going on in my world at that stage. I think that's really lovely. So it's a sentiment I can see I'm going to be using a lot more of. And those little heart additions, they're just the finishing touch, aren't they? They're just that pretty bit that you can sort of firework at the top, lay over the top of the die. So many ways you're going to be able to use this set. Have a feeling it's one you're going to get a lot of use out of. Now, if you do get creative with this or any other items that you've bought from us here at Craftmania, we would love to see what you've been doing. So if you haven't already, pop on over to our Facebook group, which is called Create with Craftmania and Jamie Rodgers. Answer the questions. There's just like 3 questions. There's nothing taxing. We just do that to make sure that who we've got in our group are genuine crafters who are going to sort of support and be part of the group and be part of the family there that we have. We have an amazing community in our group. Genuinely, they are supportive, they are helpful, they're friendly, they're welcoming, they're enthusiastic. They're just an amazing group, honestly. I think we've got something like 2,500 group members now. It's around there somewhere. I get a bit confused with all the numbers for all the different pages, but it's about 2,500 members, and they genuinely are the friendliest, most helpful bunch you could ever wish to share your creativity with, or just ask questions. And equally, we're in there as well, and by we I mean us at Craftmania, myself, the Jamie Rodgers Crafts design team, the Craftmania design team, we're all in there. So if you've got questions about products that you've purchased from Craftmania, let us know and we'll give you a hand and we'll try and help you. So come and join the group if you haven't already. You don't have to share anything if you don't want to, but equally we would love to see what you've been doing. And we hear so many times people saying, oh, I was a bit nervous about sharing, or, you know, a little bit reluctant to get started sharing. Don't hesitate. Jump on in and share with us what you've been up to. I promise you, the group are amazing. They're friendly, they're supportive, they're helpful. And it can give you a real lovely boost when you're sharing your work with fellow crafters that actually understand what you've put into what you're doing and appreciate the effort and work that you've done. And maybe you do want a couple of hints and tips. Maybe you're not too sure if what you've done is exactly what you should have done or how you should have done it. And should I add a bow? Should I add a gem? Should I have a sentiment? ask us, and I'm sure we'll all help you. And that's not just us as the team that run the group and the page or the company, but actually all of our fellow sort of members. We call you all Craftmanians because to us, you're part of our family and part of our group. And if you haven't already become a member, please do pop onto the group and answer the questions and become a member, because we'd love to have you there. And if you do get creative with this die or any of the other items we bring you here at Craftmania, we would love to see what you're doing. So, okay, enough waffling from me for today. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments or on the group, and I'll do my very best to answer them for you. Thank you for joining me to have a little look through today's die of the week. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if there is any issues with sound, please just let us know. We'd love to be able to fix them, but we can only fix what we know is a problem. So please let us know. And if you do let us know, if you have got a problem, if you do discover an issue, let us know if you can where this issue is. You know, maybe we haven't thought to play around on a Mac, for instance. I'm not very good with technology, but a Mac, it could be that it's only Macs that are creating a problem for us. And unless you tell us where your problem's coming across, it's more challenging for us to know where to fix it. But hopefully today, with our little tweaks, we've fixed it, so we'll see. Okay, thank you very much. I will see you all again very soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.